Hello guys, now this is The Road. We're back again. First time in English since I have my guest with me today, Mezii. And welcome to the show, Mezii.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. So today we're gonna talk about how your interest in Counter-Strike came about and how you specifically chose Counter-Strike over games like maybe Call of Duty and how you grinded up to become a rather decent player, I would say at this point, playing for a recognized organization in GamerLegion. So let's start from the top. So how did your interest come in Counter Strike?
So, firstly, it was coming from like my dad who played CS Source to begin with. Um, so I got into wanting to play that to begin with, which was Source, and then I was around 9 years old or something. Um, and I probably played that just for fun, just for like because it was just a game to play at the time. I probably played Call of Duty on the side just as fun as well as you do when you're like a little kid. Um, But obviously, seeing my dad like always, he went to a few UK lands as well, like just to have a bit of fun with friends. It kind of gets you thinking like you'd really want to go and play that as well. So that's where like my initial interest for like Counter-Strike franchise, let's say, came along. Um, and then after that, I think probably after a few years going into high school and stuff, I wanted to get back into it, so I thought I'd download it again, give it a go. And by that point, CS:GO was already out. And I thought, oh no, I don't want to try that. I just want to stick to CS Source. But everyone was saying, oh, this is the new game. You need to start playing this and all that. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And it kind of just went from there. And I like, because I enjoyed CS Source so much, and this was the new thing. You kind of thought you need to grind it out and just see where it takes you, kind of thing. And it's fair to say it's like doing quite well for me now. So yeah.
Yeah, you're doing all right. So you mentioned the Call of Duty that you played on the Xbox. So why did you choose specifically Counter Strike as your game to play?
So like Call of Duty, I think is a really fun game to play with like friends and just mess about on kind of thing. Um, like with CS, you see they had like 1.6 was the pretty big game, then you had Source, which was a bit smaller, but then you had CS:GO. So there's only like three versions of the franchise, let's say, over however many years. With Call of Duty and games like Rainbow Six and stuff like that, it's like they're releasing it so frequently with new abilities or new little perks and stuff. It gets quite like hard to keep things like consistent, if you know what I mean, in your
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
With CS, you kind of have like the ability to set the foundations and keep on working with it. And with the game as it is, like they're not updating it constantly, and you have the ability to be able to. You don't get good at something and then it gets torn back down again by a new game. Like with Call of Duty, you might get really good at the one version and then the next one comes out and it's like it's not your type of game. So I think that's like the other interest with me. It's like you can constantly be consistent and competitive in one type of game, which is a bit different compared to the others.
Yeah, and also like the meta itself like evolves in this little echo chamber that is the game without getting patched that frequently. So
Yeah.
you get like different metas. For example, how you take top banana as a CT. You know, in the beginning you did the antenna flash. Now you're doing like smoke volley combo from top of first oranges, and you know that's really interesting actually. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the like really exciting thing about CS though is like you don't need to constantly update the game to have different things happening inside the game. If you know what I mean? Like you just said,
yeah,
like there's like I think Pronax said it on like one of his interviews where one thing that might have worked in 2014 that goes out for a few years actually comes back like later on, like say now 2020. So that's the good thing. It's like yeah, it might not work for a few years and it comes back, and then things like you said with the new ways of taking banana, using grenades, like Australis were a big thing, like HE grenades. How many like years ago not many people really used them, and then now Australis for the past few years have been using them so well and efficiently. It comes into the game like much better than it used to.
yeah, exactly. So you started on high school. You started playing Counter Strike, grinding matchmaking, and could you maybe talk a bit about how you transitioned from like matchmaking and playing into Face It?
Yeah, so well, I kind of just like did the usual grinding through like ranks of matchmaking, starting off with gold novas or whatever, like the all the noob stuff. But you know, everyone has to start somewhere, and then kind of like just trying to find friends through that. And I think when loads of people ask me on Twitter or Steam and stuff like, how do you like find a team or something? It's like always like try and find friends first to like that you can enjoy playing with, grinding with, and I think that's always the most important thing, like because they push you further to play more and fix things and stuff. And I think that's what I just did is like played matchmaking, found some friends through that that I that I enjoyed playing with, and then you just move on to like you think okay, you get to like global elite now, it's time to like get a bit of a better challenge. So then that's when you try out like Face It, ESEA, all those things. And I think it's always better grinding with people. I think um, later on, like down the line when I didn't have as many people to play with, I started to grind solo, which is like really quite annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think definitely like grinding with people is a lot more fun, and I think that's all I did is like finding friends to play with, and then getting a new challenge, which is like Face It and grinding through those levels. There's always another step to take, whether you're in matchmaking, getting to the next rank, or Face It or ECA, and then like even this level when you get to level 10, Face It or rank S, there's still like for me, there's still steps forward in like your career as well. So
Yeah, it's a constant grind actually
yeah.
to improve. So you got the so can you maybe talk about how you started playing like on a team? When did you think that like this was it for you, and then how did you maybe find those teammates?
Yeah, so well, like I'd had some like sense of like team games in Source when I was like really young, like having a chance to play with like some of my dad's mates and like some like official games in some of the leagues I had then. So when coming into CS:GO, I kind of felt like that's something I really wanted to do. So even when starting matchmaking, you try and find friends to play with, like to make a team then. And I found a guy quite actual local to where I lived as well that was playing matchmaking at the time, and I made friends with him. And he was at that time really interested in making an organization and all that, because it's like it's an exciting thing to do, isn't it? When you first start, you want to make a team, you want to make an organization, and all that. So um, we kind of did that and just basically just kept on playing. You end up finding friends, and I think we found like three other people or something that we enjoyed playing with, or we posted on like ESEA forums and like Reddit or whatever, and they're looking for team websites. You find people to play with, and then we just started to play with the teams. And it's something I always say to people is try and stay away from like the constant grind of Face It solo, and try and find teammates, because that's where you learn how to like actually be in a team and respect people and learn to play around others. And like, that's always something I emphasize with people is like get a team as soon as you can, play ECA Open, play everything you can, to just learn from other people as well, because it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, so can you maybe talk about some of the challenges you had when you had to play a team in first? So what things did you actually get surprised by, and how did you try and fix those mistakes that you had at that time?
I think the main thing is probably communication is at the start, because you're so used to in pugs or matchmaking just kind of worrying about yourself instead of like the team. Let's say you kind of worried about I've got to do well here to get like the rank up and try and win us the game. But I think when you transition to a team, and that's why I said it's such a big thing, you need to learn to like call when things are open, call what to do, like what the set reactions are, what other teams are doing and stuff. So I think that's the main thing that I found as like communication is and you try and learn quite quickly is all those things like the foundations, because when you're a team, you need those foundations to be able to improve. If you don't, then you find a lot of like obstacles in the future to like that are a much bigger problem than you could have fixed at the start. Um, so firstly, I'd say communication. Other than that, I think, especially in the UK, it's more like the overall attitudes. I think, for me, it's not a huge problem, because I think my attitude's like quite good. But I think not a lot of other scenes have the problem of like people leaving constantly, like the UK does. So I think that was the main problem. Even going into a team is keeping the same roster and like trying to grind together, because you get to a certain point and then someone's decided, oh, I don't want to play anymore.
Oh yeah,
And then you have to just regrind again. It's like a huge like process. So I think I think that's another problem, but I think the main one was communication transition into a team. I think
Yes,
so.
yes. So when you say like communication and transitioning into a team, can you be a bit more specific? So what exactly is it by communication and by transitioning into a team that actually makes it difficult, and why is it you emphasize so hard on those two aspects especially?
Because like I think even for us now in GamerLegion, we have problems with communication. I think especially international teams is like speaking English is the problem. But even for UK teams, they're so like I think a lot of people find it hard to multitask, like focusing on their game and also communicating with the team. So like for example, like if one teammate's pushing the side of the map and they're coming into a site but you smoke them off, calling that they can't come in is like a simple thing to say, and they could be watching their flank instead. And I think a lot of people don't call things like that. They smoke it and don't say anything. And it's like I see it in professional games now, and it happens in our games. It's like those problems will I think always help the team and win those like really important rounds, and that's why it's like really good to have from the very start from a team to set out, okay, then we need to, it's the balance between having hectic comms and like overcoming and undercoming. You want to have that good balance where everyone knows what's happening. And I think a lot of teams have like keywords, let's say, like to refresh communication or to make sure everyone knows what's going on at the map at the right time. So I think those like the specifics is like really, you don't want to over communicate within a team, but you also want to have that specifics like what's actually happening, and it makes all the difference I think within a team compared to just like saying a position. Like you see it in pugs, don't you, when
Yeah, yeah,
someone throws a grenade towards one site and they go, "It's B, it's B, it's B," and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
no one's going in. And I think things like that, it's like calling, okay, it's one person's throwing a grenade. You don't need to rotate or something. And then, like I think people miss out on that quite a lot in within a team.
Yeah, so you actually count nades and then you actually say what's open. So
Yeah, yeah,
if you're an A anchor on Mirage for example and they do A smokes and you sit default, then you say okay, ramp is open. They can come out ramp if you
yeah.
sit and only hold palace. So you actually say what you're holding and then you say what's open for your teammates so they can assist you better
Yeah,
basically.
I think that's an important thing is on those things should be set out either in like saying like a server time or before the round starts. So if like say take your example, if your teammate's sitting default, he doesn't want to be calling that like as the execute comes in. He wants to say, okay, I'm playing default this round. If they execute, they can push ramp and it's open. Or for example, so at least then he doesn't have to call whilst it's all happening.
Yeah.
He knows his teammates can react this way and this is open and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so actually the premises and the rules of communication are like talk about beforehand and then the when it actually happens everyone is on the same page and
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
everything happens like yeah. Okay, great, great, great. So if we go further up and then you start like this is what was like your first transition into a team, like you found these problems, right? So you get up on a maybe on a higher level, right? You come up and you start playing ESEA main, ESEA advanced. So what changed from this initial beginning you had and then to the next step, let's say?
I think it was just a lot of playing, like grinding, because I think in that period, I think from I played like quite a few seasons of ECA Open with a team, and I performed quite well. I think between that time from Open to main, I grinded from rank like B or something to rank G, so I played like a lot of pugs, and that's the time where like I played a lot of solo games, and I thought because I felt like I was playing well, but I knew I had like things to improve on, and I really was enjoying the game. So I thought I'm just going to grind the game out, try and meet new people, see what I can like show people. So that's when I grinded to rank G, and um, I think that's when I actually met Ezo,
Yeah.
who I first teamed with in main maybe or something, or in advanced or the second season of main I think. Because I met him through pugs, and like even doing stuff like that. That's like I said from the start. It doesn't just happen at the beginning of your career. Throughout, you meet like new people that you can end up playing with. So even with me playing for a few years, I still met another person that I ended up teaming with. So I think in that transition, it was just a lot of playing because I felt you can only get better by playing even more, obviously. So I thought let's just see how it goes. Try and get to rank G because that was the big thing at the time, and see what can happen. But that's the main thing, was just playing loads of pugs. I didn't really focus too much on like the death matching aspect and stuff. I just thought it was quite a big thing at the time. People playing pugs. Like I know Smoothie was doing a lot at
Yeah.
that time. He was like having, you saw on the front page all the RWS leaderboard. So I thought I want to be on that leaderboard. So I thought I'm just going to keep playing. And that was the main thing, just playing the game.
All right. So did you like get some bad habits or some kind of like when you grinded, right? You actually when you played that many pucks, you did you get any like bad habits from playing that you had to correct when you got into the team play aspect again, or how did that whole situation actually work out?
I think for me it helped that I'd begun with a team in the first place and then went to pugging. I didn't like instantly start. I think if I had started with ESEA pugs without a team at the very beginning, then I could have fell into a lot of bad habits, because I think you see that with players now that it happens. But because I'd learned quite a lot with communication and being with players in a team before pugging, it kind of helped me going into that transition. I still think you still get problems from pugging, like overfacing things, because you're so used to just like getting one or two kills and thinking it's only a pug. I'll just try and get the extra kill.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I don't think it happened too much because I'd learned so much prior to being like pugging and stuff in a team. Like going to my next one, I learned, okay, this is how you play like like proper Counter Strike, and not overface and not like take stupid like risks and stuff, and weighing it up in your mind. Okay, this is the right thing to do and stuff like that.
yeah. So when you were grinding and pugging, like, did you have what was your daily routine back then? Was it just waking up 5 minutes of 8 bots and then playing, or did you do something more? Like,
Um, I think, well, at that time I was still I would have been in like college or sixth form, whatever you like to call it. So in the week, I was obviously going to school or education. Then after that, I would try and play a few pugs. So there wasn't a lot of aimbots and stuff. But on the weekend, I would try and do kind of similar to what I do now. I do around 500 aimbots, and I don't try and do too much because I use it just as like a warm up. I don't use it as in like an actual aim trainer type thing. Um, so I probably did like about 500 aimbots on the weekend, and then I'd go like straight into pugs and just basically play almost all day. At that time, I was streaming quite a bit, so I'd like basically just play like all day, maybe have like a 2 minute break or something to get something to eat, and then just carry on like all night for especially on the weekend. In the week, it was a bit less because obviously of school and stuff. So yeah.
yeah. All right, all right. Okay. So you come up and you play with Iso and his friends. You actually play with them for quite a lot of seasons, right? So through this like extended period of time with playing with the same players, did you learn something that you maybe hadn't learned earlier?
Um, I think like I've always had like loyalty towards my teammates anyway. So like in my first teams starting up, I was with them for quite a few seasons, and then when I'd met Ezo and that team, we'd been together. I think it's just like um, kind of respecting other teammates, and like seeing how like good other players are with you. Like you notice like good things about them. Like when you're with someone, you might not notice as many good things, but more appreciating what other players do for your team and stuff like that. So like playing with like Ezo for so long as well, you appreciate, like 'cause he was our entry fragger, let's say, at the time.
Yeah.
So you kind of appreciate people going in first and just like running in, and they might just die every round, but they do it for the team and stuff. So I think when you're on a team with people for so long, you kind of appreciate how good they are and what they do for the team. I think that's the main thing that I realized.
Yeah, so you actually got the bigger picture of team play and how to actually grind out and win rounds based not
Yeah,
only on your own performance but from every single role that is in Counter-Strike actually.
yeah.
Yes, okay. So you actually get up and play advanced with ESO and the boys. So from main to advanced, did you notice any like big differences both in opposition and in team wise like gameplay since you had to like level up your Counter-Strike?
I think there's a lot more depth in advanced. I think the step up is like quite like really big compared to like main. Um, like noticing the difference between advanced and MDL, there wasn't a huge difference, but like main and advanced, I think there's a big difference because I remember being like really hyped with the team when we qualified for advanced, and I think there's definitely like in main, there's like normally one or two really good teams, or not even really like decent teams, and the rest aren't that great. But advanced, I think there's a lot more depth. Like I think even this season, it wasn't the best. I don't think, in my opinion, was the best like amount of teams that are in there. But you still had like really good teams like Tricked. I think were in there. Saw teams like
Yeah,
that are really like even Saw. I think they were in Blast this season, and
yeah,
they took maps off Vitality or whoever, and they're doing like really well. So I think the step up is quite big, and I don't think I think we kind of realised it, but we didn't really take it in. So I think we grinded quite a lot as a team and as like individuals, but I still think we was like a bit of a step behind because I think we only just about kept our spot on maybe the first season or something. I don't think we quite realised how much it steps up compared to, because there's like a lot more. Even if you're not playing a good team, you're playing a good set of mixed players as well. Like there's never really like a free game in advanced, I would say. Like in main, there's normally like those games that you're always going to win. In advanced, it's always like a really like it's a big grind for the regular season because you're playing 16 games or whatever it is, and
yeah.
every game's really hard. So yeah,
So it's taxing on mentally as well, actually.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So on the team-wide aspect, like, did you actually like encounter new problems? You said that you probably didn't adapt to the toughness of ESEA Advanced, but did you like um um did you like change something internally, or did you maybe like change in-game leaders, change some spots, do anything like differently when you got up into advanced and played there, or how did that actually work out?
Yeah, so I think like as I said, like I think initially we didn't really try and change too much because we were like we was really happy we had qualified and all that, and I think we kind of felt like it was working in main, so why not just carry on? And I think we like found out quite quickly it wasn't working out as well because obviously every game's really hard. So I don't think we changed too much. I can't remember fully, but I know we would have changed like certain positions on maps, like where people would have felt more comfortable. Um, I think eventually we might have swapped out like an IGL or like tried other people like mid round calling or having like a dedicated counter terrorist caller on one side and stuff like that. Um, just because it's as you said, it's like you're playing a lot harder teams, so you need to adapt quicker in these games. So I think having the pressure on one person at that like level is quite hard to do. So I think we all tried to contribute when we got there to like putting in the work and putting in like these different calls and adapting in game. Um, but I think that was the biggest thing, was adapting. I don't think we
Yeah.
did it quite as well in advanced because we didn't really expect like the step up. But I think we ended up surviving like a good few seasons anyway. But that was just like just about surviving, I think.
Yeah. So you actually go from this one person who has like all of the burden with the calling and everything to actually pull it, take it up everyone, and then you everybody helped each other with the
Yeah.
calling and what to do in game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's even today it's best to have, because not one person can control everything, can they? So I think it's important to have like having that one leader is good, but having a person that or a couple of people that can like contribute towards it and like make that job easier, because at the end of the day, it's you can't be selfish and just let one person focus on their own game plus four other people. So it's good to have like different people contribute towards the game.
Yeah, so you actually have, so it's more of like a hierarchy of authority. So you have this
Yeah,
one guy who has this final say, and then everyone chimes in with
yeah,
through good communication to actually do like find out where you want to end up and
yeah.
like take initiative and adapt during mid rounds and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all right. So you you step up then from the ESO team, and then you actually come up and you're a free agent for a little while, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in your free agent time after you played with ESO, how did you grind keep continuing? So like your
Um,
oh yeah, yeah, talk.
so like I kind of just went back to what I kind of knew, which was just like pugging and stuff like that. And still playing, just playing the game, like keeping up my hours, like making sure I don't like fall off, just in case the chance did come up. And I don't think it was that long that I was a free agent after ESEA's team. I'm guessing. I think after that I would have played with the old Vexed lineup or the UK team,
Yeah.
which it came across like quite quick. That team did. I think once that ESO and Advanced had fallen apart, the other UK team had like disbanded as well. And it was midway through the UK Premiership season, so I was quite lucky to have like quite a short off season, let's say, or something. I just grinded the game, like played it as much as I could until that chance would come up with the UK team. I think it's all about like making sure you don't get like stale or fall behind, because I think a lot of people might not let's say they get kicked or the team disbands or something, they kind of like get a bit demotivated or something and not want to play the game. But I think it's the perfect time to like keep on playing, because like you don't want to fall behind and potentially like your career then is finished because you just decided you didn't want to play after that, or you wanted to take a break. Because as I said, like for me, that basically put my career back on track. I think playing with UK, like the UK team again, because that got to me where I was now. So
Yeah. So during this time, did your daily routine actually change? Did you still go to school actually in this time?
yeah, so I was still I went to university, so I only recently finished that. Finished that in May. So for the past 3 years, I've been at university, even with the UK team. So that was like quite a hard thing for us, like not being able to play like so much, just because I think one of us or two of us were at work. I think Adam was at university as well. So it was like I was still trying to play as much as I could, but days were still limited, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah.
I could only play after university or on the days that I had off, and then on the weekend as well. But also, then you got to balance like life as well. You can't just go to university, come home, play video games, and then go to bed. It's like I know some people can do that, but you've also got to have like an outside life as well, being able to meet friends and so on. So I still like had kind of the same routine as I always did, like try and play as much as I could, but have like a set balance with like university work and so on.
Yeah. All right. Great. So, did your daily routine actually change here then? From like you went from college to university and like you got up on this higher level of play. So, did you maybe incorporate more demos and did you actually watch your own demos or when maybe like what did you change?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
I think definitely then I tried to set more of a consistent routine. So I think something that I have now was basically put in around that time that you said. I think before I kind of like sometimes did aimbot, sometimes didn't, and then like wouldn't think about it too much. And I think from that point on, from when I had the Vex team onwards, I kind of had like a set kind of routine, which was kind of doing like aimbots each day, and then I do the aim training CSGO map, I think, like to try and train a bit more flicky type of aim, and then I do deathmatch, which is like 250 kills. I think not too much, and then like demos, like you said. I think that's something that a lot of people miss out on. And I think it's probably the most important thing as well, because you learn so much from it, whether it's like new grenades or smokes to like set reactions or positions on a map, because so many people put emphasis on, oh, I've got to headshot this guy instantly to kill him. But when you watch a demo, you realize like a lot of these players are in the right positions, and sometimes the players aren't even looking at them to win the aim duel because they've reacted or in the right position to play that round. And I think that's what you learn from demos, and that's what I tried to do. I think in that time I was watching a lot of demos to try and keep up with the meta and new grenades and positions, because it's the most important thing. I think like you should put more emphasis on demo watching than just all out aimbots or death matching all the time.
great. Yes. Okay. So now you're so off from university. So are you finishing the masters actually?
I'm not doing a master's,
No.
no, not now. So I
Uh,
did my 3 years, and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
I can't take another year of education.
No, so you're all out on CS right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you make a new kind of practice routine that you're gonna do every day since you have more time to do it? Or how have you thought about that actually?
I think I probably upped it a little bit, like say an extra 50 kills on deathmatch or something. But I tried to. I think the main difference was that I could do it more consistently each day. I could take my time with it. Whereas when I was at university, maybe one day I wouldn't be able to do it because I had like revision or an exam to do or something like that. So it was like a bit less consistent. But now I can do it every single day, do team practice and so on. So I think I probably upped it a little bit more than I did before, but it's just I think the key thing is consistency, and I think that's always the thing I've always been big on is like try and keep the same routine each day if you can. Like for now I'm all in on CS. I try and keep it each day because there's no excuses for me not to do it. So I try and keep it the same each day.
Yeah, so now you let's talk about your transition from Vex to GamerLegion. So now you come up and you actually play in MDL. Or did you do that with Vex as well? I can't.
No, we've this was my first season in MDL with
Yes.
GamerLegion, so yeah.
All right, all right. So in MDL, did you now you got up here playing with like on a higher level again? So as you said earlier, like the transition wasn't as big from advanced to MDL, but did something change now with your new teammates in your like team-wide aspects of both playing and like how you see team work?
Yeah, so I think the main thing was not finding the transition that hard was because like going from Vex to Gaming Legion. I think in Vex we practiced against a lot of the big teams anyway because we was in like the one of the top prac groups, so we were still playing against these top teams. So I think going into MDL, there wasn't a lot of pressure playing against them because you already know you've played against them in practice. You know, like their players. You know they're not like some kind of like unreal, like out of this world like player. So you know you feel comfortable doing it. So I think going into Game Legion, it was quite hard for us at the start because it was a quite a big mix like team because we still had Hampus playing with us because we had to keep the spot. Um, and it was like really mixy. So against these teams, it was quite hard to like get wins. I think we started like 0-6 or 0-7. Um, so like for me individually, it wasn't that hard because I'd practiced against them and I was still doing my routines. So individually, I performed well, but as a team, I think especially for other players, it was quite hard because they were communicating in English for the first time. Um, so when it gets quite hectic, it was quite hard to like communicate what was going on. Like sometimes the European calls are different to like what we call them in the UK as well. So taking all that into account, going against these good teams that have like really good reactions, like for us it was quite messy at the start, and I think we brought it back towards the end because that's when we brought in Zero and Adam, and we actually made like a team of it, um, and it changed quite a lot with this team because I think with an international team you get like the best of everyone if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
you can find like you're not like tailored to one nation. So in the UK, like when we're thinking of getting a UK player in, we can only think of two or three people. But when we was building this team with Game Legion, you've got whoever you want to get, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah.
we could pick Zero, and he would fit perfectly into the team. And I had a good idea with Adam because he's a great team player to get him into the team as well. So I think then with an international team, it's a lot. Like for me, it's a lot better anyway because you get the best of everyone. You can have a good mix of like cultures, and um, you don't get like you don't get stuck. Everyone has ideas as well. Like everyone has different experiences in different teams. Like
Yeah.
let's say the Danish players have a certain way of playing, and Swedish players have a different way of playing, and so on. So it's good to have a really good mix within a team.
Yeah, so you can actually create the optimal philosophy for your
Yeah,
team, actually.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, so now you're actually playing with Zero, and Zero he has played for many years. Then he took a hiatus, and then he's back now. He played in like hell races and
yeah.
stuff. Can you actually feel that experience when you're playing with him in the server?
Yeah, definitely. Like for him, when you watch him, he's like an incredible like aimer and stuff. And I think you can tell like in like high pressure moments or when he's like having to anchor a site or something, you can definitely tell he doesn't like panic much or he's like seen a lot of things. I think obviously taking a break has hurt him a little bit because he's not like up to date with all the grenades and like all different reactions. But you can definitely tell he's got experience because he knows like when to do certain things or how to adapt to a team instead of like just playing one way, if you know what I mean. So watching and playing with him, you can definitely tell it's like he's got really good experience. He knows how to like have like keep a good atmosphere and everything. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, did you learn anything from like playing with him since he has this much experience?
Like I think it's those like smaller things like like different communication or like contact points. Let's say like on Overpass, we have a different call out of like when to start throwing flashes onto A or something called to support teammates. So he's brought like things that he would have had in Hellraisers to this team where you never really thought about before. Like you would just end up doing it and it wouldn't work. But he's brought things of like this is when you need to do it, or like I said with the overpass things, when teams are executing up onto A site, like he knows like when they get to that little awkward point and they're coming onto site when to flash up,
Yeah.
and we never had a call for that, but he always said like let's call it this. So when you make this call out, this is when we flash, and like little things like that. I think make all the difference within a team. So I think that's just experience that he's had and ideas he's had from like playing with like big players like Angel and stuff in Hellraisers.
Yeah, so it's actually from, so you actually have, okay, so you have this play, let's say, I don't know, shovel. Okay, you have shovel, and then whenever you say shovel, you know this flash is gonna
Yeah,
come, and it's only in this specific situation that you use this call out shovel. So
yeah,
let's say they do the wall of smokes on A side overpass, and you sit in like the truck corner in front of the smokes, and then you hear them running up, and then like maybe you, is it then you who's in the corner who calls for a
yeah.
shovel, and then zero casts the
Yeah,
flash?
it's a bit of both. So like
Yeah,
if you hear them, you might say that call out and he throws it, or he might say, okay, I'm throwing, like in your example, I'm throwing the shovel
yeah,
flash. Like it works both ways. So because not always when you're that anchor, you don't want to be communicating too much. You want to be focusing on like taking down the players coming into sight. So as long as you know this flash is coming in, you know how where it's going to land. Okay, you don't have to look away, or you don't have to look in this certain position. I think things like that people don't really think about too much, and I think it's a big thing for like an anchor on a site to be able to know this is the flash. Okay, then I don't need to worry about where it lands, because sometimes you might be fighting like having an angel with someone and someone says I'm flashing and you don't know where they're flashing.
yeah.
So it's good to have those different call outs where it's going to land and stuff.
All right, all right. So if so you have like this kind of small like set plays you can say on like all of the maps in, and so you have, is it like, so would you maybe use like again this example like the shovel flash, would you use it in different scenarios than or would you only use it in like the wall of smoke A sites execute in this example for example? Yeah.
I think on like so for in this example, like Overpass A, I think because it's such a like an open site, so like if teams are coming up like through toilets or through banana or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
when they get to that site, like everything basically gets blind. Like if you just throw a flash in the air. So
Yeah.
for that example, any type of execute onto A, you could do like that shovel flash, let's say. And
Yeah.
I think when we got that, when he gave us that idea of that on Overpass, we tried to do it on other maps. So like let's say like on Inferno, a site on shore, like as they get to like the haystack or the wagon thing,
Yeah.
like we try to have it like there as well, because it when they get to there they have to commit to the site. So when you get a flash there, they can't go anywhere. So we try to like put that onto each map, if you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
where it's like applicable. And see where it works and where it doesn't, and we try to test it. And like Overpass is definitely the best map for it, but there's other maps we try and put it in as well.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe like, yeah, again, there's not really much actually when I think about
Maybe
it.
maybe overpass B as well. Like if you're playing like new boxing, you
Yeah,
can get flashes into pool or like above the fountain and stuff, like things
yeah,
like that. I think it's important to know just where the flashes are going, because you don't want to blind your own teammates just because obviously they're making the play as well.
yeah, exactly. You're basically there to support them getting the extra frag.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, is there anything really that you wanna add or like wanna tell to the people out there?
Um, I don't know. It's just keep grinding. To be honest, like I think for me the biggest thing was just playing the game, going as far as you can, because like just playing the game is enough, but obviously you want to like learn the game as well, not just play it. And I think that's a big thing. Is like you said earlier on, is like the demos and stuff. I think implementing that for me was a big thing and got me to where I was, because not everything happens like overnight. Like with Vexed, I was with them for like a year and a half or something,
Yeah,
and don't expect like, even for me, I was playing really well with Vexed. Don't don't expect just a team to come out of nowhere and you're just going to go from advanced to tier 1 Counter-Strike straight away. Like, expect to grind and make your way to the top. But each way is a step. Like for me, I was playing open, the next step was main, next step was advanced, and now I'm in MDL. So it's like you've got to like keep on like staying loyal and stay humble to what you're doing, and like keep on going through that way.
Great. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being with me here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been very enjoyable.
You too.